Hey there, beautiful people. In today's video, we are continuing in on our self-love, self-acceptance, and self-appreciation series, really getting to understand ourselves, really getting to know ourselves, establishing a healthy self-esteem where you're not constantly changing what you think and what you feel and what you believe about yourself based on external circumstances, other people's opinions, on the car that you're driving, and personal possessions. On this channel, we sit down to talk about all things relationships, love, dating, and marriage. By nature, we are relational beings. We cannot escape relationships. Relationships with our colleagues, relationships with our family, relationships with the government, and even relationship with ourselves. Relationships are important, and they are the essence of life. We are relational beings. So we don't just talk about interpersonal relationships with other people. While they're important, I feel that the most important relationship that you should actually be basing, that will actually determine the quality of your other relationships, is relationship with yourself. So we often focus on being kind to others and showing other people love and acceptance and just being a better person in society, that we neglect the relationship with ourselves. We don't really take time to understand our own temperament, to really understand our own weaknesses in such a way that it helps us to be our true self, express ourselves honestly and unapologetically. I was just looking through the scripture and I found that part where, I think it was the Pharisees asked Jesus what the greatest commandment was. And Jesus answered that the first and the greatest commandment is that you love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, basically with everything that you are. And then he said, equally to this, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So your ability to love your neighbor and to love other people and to be kind to other people is really determined by your ability to be kind to yourself. So it's God, self, others. Some people are so free to be themselves. They are themselves, whether you like them or hate them, they are themselves. Yet a majority or a large part of society is just conformed. We're just conforming to the image that people have of us. But if you really sit down and ask yourself, truly ask yourself, how many of your dreams are actually your dreams? How much of what you want out of life is really what you want? Are your feelings really your feelings? Are your thoughts really just your thoughts? Or are those the thoughts that society has put upon you? I always laugh about this one, but I find it so true. And it's funny, though, this tall, dark, and handsome, that the average woman is saying that she is looking for or desires to be with a tall, dark, and handsome man. Where is this coming from? Where is this narrative, or where is this picture and image coming from? It's Hollywood. It's the movies that we watch. It's the music videos. And also that a beautiful woman needs to be fair in complexion, needs to have long, preferably blonde hair, blue eyes, Barbie basically. So when you're now looking at your life and the things that you like, the things that you're getting, are these really the things that you want for yourself? Or are these the things that other people have that kind of not just only inspired you to want, but are you pursuing your own dreams? Are you pursuing your own ambitions? Or are you pursuing somebody else's ambitions and expectations of you? Most people go through their whole lives pursuing fame and actually get to be rich and famous and successful, but not really having self-fulfillment, not really feeling self-fulfilled. And this breaks my heart. I've seen some of my favorite actors, Heath Ledger, Robin Williams, my favorite musicians, and I'm sure these are people that are celebrated and will be celebrated for, I think, centuries to come. Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. These are people who were dying inside, and yet they were celebrated for their success and the things that they were doing. But when you see somebody come to a point of committing suicide, somebody who has enough money to buy anything that the world, they don't even need to buy it. Like, these people are so successful that even Boeing, Airbus is willing to give them an aircraft. They don't even need to buy it. The world, the universe is just willing to lay it all down for them. And yet these people have proven time and again that they're miserable inside. So that's the kind of thing that we want, that I really personally value in myself. And I keep bringing myself back and saying, the things that I'm doing, the things that I'm pursuing, who am I really doing them for? Are these really my thoughts? Or if I'm fighting certain battles, are these really my own battles based on my own feelings? Or I'm fighting somebody else's battle? I've talked in the past, and I'm sure, well, if you've been following me for a while, you may know the story. If not, I'll leave the video linked for you in the cards and in the description box below, where I was talking about my personal story, that I saw my mom being battered and beaten. I saw her try to commit suicide 3 times by the time I was, 8 years old? And in that experience, I saw her in an abusive relationship with my father. And that does something to you. That does something to how you relate with men. And I've often even found myself fighting certain battles, and then it had to come to my consciousness to see, is this battle that I'm fighting my own battle, or I'm fighting my mother's battle, that I felt that my mom was not able to speak up for herself, or I felt this certain way about this kind of behavior. So certain behaviors have a trigger, and they make me think and feel a certain way, and they make me respond and act in a certain way. But I'm not necessarily fighting my own battle. So it's important for us to have a good relationship with ourselves, to the point that we actually know our own triggers. We know not just our own wealth, like the wealth that we bring into the world, as in the value we bring into the world, but just to really understand what our triggers are and who we really are at the core. So whether you like to believe it or not, a lot of what we think is us, and our own opinion and our own feelings, may not actually be our own feelings, our own opinions, and our own values, our own goals, and our own life ambitions. And it's important for us to really check ourselves and see, who am I doing this for? This car that I want to buy, do I want to buy it because it makes life easier, it's more convenient for me, or do I want to buy it as a status symbol to please people? And I've heard it being said that people who really truly love you and value you don't really mind about the little things, but the people who don't matter, or the people who matter the least, are the ones that we're trying to impress the most. We're even getting into debt, using credit cards, borrowing, to create an illusion of a certain lifestyle, to impress people who don't care about us, essentially. So I keep thinking about this. I really keep thinking about us growing, people just growing to appreciate themselves. And this is age independent, all of y'all. It's not about acting it out, faking it till you make it kind of thing, but it's really an inside out experience. So if I'm being kind to you, or if I'm being one way or generous or anything, it has to be from the inside out, not because I'm trying to prove something, or I'm trying to look some kind of way, or to flex and stuff like that. Of course, man with the ego. We all got egos, guys. Even us ladies, we have, I personally have a big ego. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I love to flex. Then what? Now you have to flex again. And once you flex, you have to kind of outflex yourself and stuff like that. So you end up living again for people. So I've had to kind of come back to myself and say, okay, fine, some of the things that I'm doing, why am I doing it? Who am I doing it for? Really, really, really. If I can't afford this, I can't afford it. And I've liberated myself from so much bondage that I was putting myself in. And if you all know me, if you've been watching and following, you know that I just bring it out as I use my life as an experiment, or it is my experience of my life to share with you what I honestly feel and believe is right and wrong. And I'm happy to use myself as an example for that. Not to really just talk about people people are. Most of the things that I talk about, I relate, because those are things I'm either experiencing or things that I have experienced. So, ladies and gentlemen, the point of today's sit down is for us to look inwardly, to really ask ourselves those few important questions that I spoke about earlier. To ask yourself your vision, your life goals, your passion, all of these things. Are these things that you want? Are the feelings that you feel, are they really your feelings, or you're fighting out somebody else's battle? Your thoughts, your desires, your life ambitions, all of these things, are these things that you want for yourself? Or are you just living out a narrative that's been written out for you? Are you just trying to please somebody else? It's really just to encourage you, as much as I'm feeling encouraged, to look inwardly, to ask myself these important questions of who I am, what do I like, and what are the things that I'm pursuing that are truly my own desires. What feelings do I feel that are my own feelings? Jesus himself said that the greatest commandment, similar to or with the same weight as loving God with all your heart, your mind, and soul, is to love other people as you love yourself. So your degree, or the degree that you're able to love yourself, is the degree to which you can love other people. If you're not kind to yourself, you're not able to forgive yourself, it's going to be very hard for you to forgive other people. You may have resentment. The chances are high that you're going to be resenting people because you resent yourself. There are far too many people, we've all experienced this, where people are just acting out outwardly. They just rude to you. That's just who they are. And I said it in my last video that what comes out of a fruit when you squeeze it is what's already inside. You don't squeeze a lemon and then mango juice comes out. And you don't squeeze an apple and have lemon juice come in. So it's important to really recognize that who you are on the inside and what you are on the inside is really just what's going to come out when you are pressed or when you're squeezed by life situations and life circumstances. So again, I would suggest to you that your life experiences are determined by the quality of relationship you have with yourself. There's so much to explore when it comes to self-love, self-appreciation, self-acceptance, self-care, and I feel like I really want to go dig deeper with this one. And as much as I'm speaking to you guys about it, it's also something that I feel I'm in that place, in that season where I'm speaking this to myself as well. So it's not like I'm just coming out here to preach to y'all and tell you I've got it all figured out, but it's really part of the journey. And I felt like this is something that I'm so inspired to talk about right now, and I just want to go deeper and deeper and unearth whatever needs to be unearthed. So even as I speak, sometimes it's even just therapy for me. So I really appreciate you guys coming and watching and being part of my community and being just the kind of like my online family, people I can just speak to and, bounce ideas off with. So the comments are all yours. The comment section is all yours. So feel free to chat with me. I personally respond to each and every one of your messages. If you want to talk more deeply or privately, you can catch me on Instagram, @SamanthaDika. Facebook, I'm not so great with Facebook, but at @SamanthaDika. Also send me an email. I have my email address somewhere on my page. It's bye-bye for now, but I will see you on the next one.